Hey, what's up? This is JBAT, and today I'll be doing a review for a crossover comic book story which featured Batman and Spider-Man. So it's a crossover between DC Comics and Marvel Comics, which featured my two favorite superheroes put together in one story. You know what I'm saying? So there's two different comic universes, brought together, And this was created in 1997. So this is BJ Bat's review for Batman and Spider-Man. Hey, what's up? This is J Bat, and today I'll be doing a review for Batman and Spider-Man. Now this was like a crossover tale between DC Comics, who have Batman, and then Marvel Comics, who have Spider-Man. So this was like a crossover tale between Batman and Spider-Man. And I believe they do. I think they have done something like this before too. But I remember at the time when I got it, I was saying I had never read it, and it was cool to see my two favorite heroes, because Batman and Spider-Man are my two favorite superheroes. So it was cool to see them, together like that. You know what I'm saying? And this was released in 1997, and I thought this was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go ahead and touch on what the story itself is about, because it features two villains, which I thought were kind of odd. You have Ra's al Ghul, and you have the Kingpin, and even Talia al Ghul. She's also in it too as well, But those two are the main villains of the story. Now the story begins in Tibet, and Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul are shown, in Tibet. And there's the situation at that moment is about Ra's al Ghul being in deep thought about his land and stuff, and the land that he is running and the people who are living there and stuff like that. So then after that it jumps to New York City with Kingpin and his wife Vanessa Fisk, and the two have a kiss, but it turns out later on that Vanessa Fisk, who is his wife, she is dying from cancer or whatever. So then it jumps to a scene with Peter Parker putting on his Spider-Man suit with MJ, Mary Jane, in their apartment, and he leaves and he goes out, you know what I'm saying? Then he interrupts this deal between a couple of Kingpin thugs, you know what I'm saying? He actually has a fight with them, and stuff. Then it jumps to Gotham City where Talia shows up and and she meets Batman or whatever. Batman confronts her, you know what I'm saying? Then after that, Talia eventually meets the Kingpin and makes a deal with him involving shipments coming to New York City, Then I'll touch on that a little more later on. So then also eventually Batman actually meets Spider-Man in New York City, and he comes to New York City, you know what I'm saying? I think because Talia came there, I think he was also tracking her too at that point, because Spider-Man even begins to track her. So it turns out that Kingpin's wife, Vanessa, like I mentioned before, she is dying of cancer. So Talia, she actually meets Kingpin, and she suggests to Kingpin that she actually can cure his wife if he decides to agree with Ra's al Ghul's deal, you know what I'm saying? Ra's al Ghul's scientists, they are working on this experimental device, you know what I'm saying, that can control the weather, and that they actually have plans to actually flood New York City, where Manhattan Island basically. They was planning on causing tidal waves to flood Manhattan Island. And the Kingpin, he kind of thinks it's a joke or whatever. But if he agrees to help Talia al Ghul and her father Raj, they will actually cure his wife. They have to cure his wife of cancer or whatever. So eventually the Kingpin accepts Talia's proposal, and he travels to Tibet with her. But when they get to Tibet and they meet, he also takes his sick wife along, because she's bedridden too. He's carrying her around with him. She can't even hardly walk her, and she can walk though. But once they get there, they meet Ra's al Ghul, but turns out Batman and Spider-Man are also there too, you know what I'm saying? So then a battle breaks out between the two. Then Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul, they rush off to Ra's al Ghul's stronghold, which is his hideout, Then Ra's reveals to him that he has a cure for his wife's cancer, Because they actually gave her the cancer, you know what I'm saying? Some kind of way they actually gave Vanessa the cancer, and it's an incurable cancer supposedly, you know what I'm saying? So Batman and Spider-Man, they put on, and in Tibet it's like a snowy environment, it's like snowing and stuff like that. So Batman and Spider-Man have to put on like fur coats and go out into the snow, you know what I'm saying? It's a cool little moment, you know what I'm saying, where they're out in the snow and stuff like that. And Spider-Man making jokes about, you know, he used to like being in the city and stuff like that, not this kind of weather. But there are some twists kind of at the end, you know, and I don't want to spoil it. So that's basically what the story is about. As a whole, you have Spider-Man and Batman joining forces to stop Kingpin and Ra's al Ghul. And Kingpin really goes with Ra's al Ghul because Ra's al Ghul can actually cure his dying wife of cancer. So I'm saying, but at the same time, Ra's al Ghul wants to actually overtake New York City and basically the whole world, you know, in the end, basically, you know. So that's what the story really was about, you know. And I thought it was pretty good, and I enjoyed it, you know what I'm saying. It's very fast paced, you know, and the artwork in it was very well done. They did some good artwork on that. I touch on that too in the review, you know. But the artwork for like Spider-Man and Batman was very excellent, you know. I thought they did the real cool together. It scenes even where they're swinging around like New York City together, you know, like Batman with his webs, you know, and Batman with his like bat rope. They're just like swinging around. I thought that looked very cool, you know. It was cool seeing them together. And they also have their moments where they get into like little slight arguments and little fights, you know. But it's not that much and it's not overblown, you know. But yeah, I would recommend this. This is Batman and Spider-Man. And this is my review for this. And this is JBAT. Alright. Hey, what's up? This is JBAT. And today I will be giving a review for Batman and Spider-Man. Now this is like a crossover comic series which featured Batman, you know, from DC Comics. Then you had Spider-Man from Marvel Comics. And now this was cool at the time, you know. This was originally released in 1997. And I think I do kind of recall there being like anticipation for this, you know. It wasn't that big of a deal, you know. And I think they already did crossovers before, you know. But these two were my favorite, two favorite superheroes, you know. Now at the time I was mostly reading Spider-Man comic books, but I also read Batman. But overall, Batman is really my favorite superhero. And Spider-Man is my number 2, so it's kind of cool, you know, seeing my two favorite, you know, superheroes together. I thought that was cool, you know. And I thought this was a very good comic, you know what I'm saying? I thought it was pretty cool, you know. And the artwork in it was very superb. They did a very good job on the artwork itself. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on like some of the images inside the book itself, you know. Now the artwork for this tale was done by, a pencil by Graham Nolan and ink by Carl Cassell, and the color was done by Gloria Vasquez, and it was separated by Heroic Age, and the letterer was John Constanza. I've heard of him before, you know. He's done like other comics I've done. And it was the writer was J.M. Mathias. So yeah, this is like the artwork for the book, which was very good, you know. I thought he did a good job on the artwork for it, you know. And this features the two villains, Ra's al Ghul and Wilson Fisk, you know, the Kingpin. It features those two villains. And it was very cool seeing Batman and Spider-Man together, as I mentioned before, you know. I thought they did a cool and good job on that. And the artwork was just truly excellent in this tale. They did a really good job on this artwork, you know. And there was moments where Batman and Spider-Man had little conflicts, you know, which I thought were pretty cool, you know. Okay, so yeah, this is Batman and Spider-Man. And it was a crossover comic between DC and Marvel, which featured like Batman, you know, and Spider-Man, because you know they are from two different two different comic book universes, you know. Okay, this is JBAT. In the end, Batman and Spider-Man was a great read, you know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, you know, and the artwork in it was very superb, you know. This was like excellent, you know, comic art, you know. I would highly recommend reading this tale, and especially for like the artwork alone. It was well done, you know. And it was cool seeing Batman and Spider-Man together, you know. Although they are from separate comic universes, you know, it was still cool seeing my two favorite superheroes together. So this is JBAT, and this is my review for Batman and Spider-Man.